Hey everyone, this is Julian Wong from the Binary Lab, and today, as promised, for those of you who have been reading my emails, I mentioned in the last email sent out about 16 hours ago that I basically had a massive day of overtrading. So, what I mean by massive? Well, coming from someone who actually teaches people and have been practicing this strategy myself of only going for about 4 to 5 net wins per day, uh, and that would probably take place over a span of anywhere between 6 to 15 trades in total course of a whole day. So yesterday what I did was epic, and if you guys have been reading my emails, and by the way, if you're not actually getting my emails, go to the sign up button at the top of this page, that gets you onto my email list. So yesterday I did something that's unprecedented for me, and what I've done in particular is that I've actually done 147 trades in a period of about 9 to 10 hours. So let me give you the highlights of this, okay? 147 trades in 9 to 10 hours, and this is done on the challenge account, okay? As you guys may know, I'm actually doing a challenge account. It's the account that you see on the screen right here. And this challenge account, I started this in the beginning of March, and I basically told my members that I purposely started this small size account of 1,000 with IQ option, a broker where a lot of people can see a lot of transparency, because let's say if I'm winning trades, people can see my name on the screen. So basically doing this challenge on this broker has a lot of benefits in the sense of there's a lot of people out there, they're skeptical, they're doubtful, but what they can see by being on the same broker, they can see that when I'm winning trades and when I'm when I'm winning my trades, how much am I trading? So they can see whether I'm cheating by by trading too big, or let's say they can at the same time observe that when they're winning these $100 trades and making $80 profits or so, I'm still there sticking to my money management, making these $10 trades, making $8.60 profits. All right. So I want to give you the highlights of this crazy day of marathon trading. And by the way, if you've never done this before, this is not for the faint-hearted. But there's a lot of things that I personally learned from this experience in marathon trading yesterday. And one of the main things I wish to share with you is the fact that I actually survived. Okay, a lot of people, when they trade for hours and hours, they go through many different feelings, such as fear, elation, and basically a cycle between two feelings, fear and elation. All right, so they get happy when they win some big trade, but then again they go into fear of taking another trade when it comes along. The highlight that I forgot to mention to you is that this particular time when I did this marathon trading of 10 hours, 147 trades, I have actually brought the account down from, it was at 2033. I brought it down to a 15%, between 13 and 15% loss 3 times in yesterday. How did this even come about? All right, basically, like a lot of people, I can perfectly understand you right now. I felt that I had to go through this experience so that I can understand what some of my traders are facing. Because I know that some of my traders are severe traderholics, okay? And one of the problems that I wish to help solve is to give my traders a means of managing their money in a reasonable way, so that if you actually go out and do a binge trade fast, you can come out on tops. So a lot of my traders, they tend to trade a lot. Some of them, they trade a lot for many hours against my advice. But we can't really stop this. But the thing is that, do we have a money management plan that can work or not? Because with the correct money management plan, you can obviously, even if the market is not so good, you can still at least preserve your capital, right? And so a lot of people was saying, what's your account up to right now? Well, and when I brought my account from, let's say, from 2000 to about 1700 something, and back up to 2000-ish, just short of my initial starting, and then back down to 1800-ish, and back up to 2000, just under 2000, down to 1700 something again, and back up to close to 2000, right? Basically, this was when I decided, the last part I got a lot more clarity, and in the finishing part of yesterday, right, what actually materialized was, I want to show you this. I'm not sure if you can see it on the screen. but I'll show you here anyways. So this is where I finished off yesterday. Let me just detach this and show it to you. So I finished really strong. Yesterday I finished with basically I had like 34 wins and 9 losses. Okay, that was the ending bid. 34 wins and 9 losses at the very end. And then this was one of the trades I done today. A little bit erratic because of the market, and so nonetheless, it was a really huge feat. And oh yeah, I want to show you the balance as well. And yesterday, in fact, I've actually covered most of the bonus turnover. A lot of traders, they only like to show you the stuff that when they're making money. But I wanna tell you that I'm actually proud to show you this account balance on this challenge account. The account I've grown from 1,000. It was a high of 2,033, but it went down 3 times yesterday, and I'm extremely proud of saying that I've actually brought this account back 3 times. So just a moment, the camera's on the wall. Okay, so. So one of the things I found out, okay, is that a lot of traders go into a trader's block when they see that their account going down, okay? And just by the way, in this whole period of 10 hours, I never exceeded 5% of my account in a single trade, okay? And I didn't make consecutive loss of more than 8% at any one time, okay? So 10 hours, 147 trades, brought the account down 15% 3 times, back up 3 times, 15%, no more than 15% down in total, and no more than 8% in consecutive loss. All right, and the final part, well, like I said, finished off with a 34 wins, 9 losses. That was I felt super proud of it. But let me talk to you about some of the psyche that goes on during that period of time when I was trading. Okay, so when traders sometimes go into a period of this emotion, I felt it as well. Like sometimes when you find that it's strange, like the Fibonacci's and the price action is not sticking to Fibonacci no matter how you draw it, and then sometimes the price sometimes you see that you see that you're trying to do a reversal trade, and then which didn't work, and you thought, okay, fine, maybe the market is very strong in its trends, let me do a breakout trend follow instead. And then just as soon as you switch the method, you find that that switch didn't work as well, and you find yourself in like a kind of a gridlock situation. And when you get that, okay, and when you feel okay, you sometimes you may have re-entered a trade, and then you felt that you felt bad about making 2 consecutive losses. And some people who use martingale, and I did use some martingales too, okay, but like I said, I kept it off at 5%. So when I did this marathon trading, I walked away. The reason why I went down that much as well, 15%, was because in the course of the whole day, okay, I had about 5 abandoned martingales, or was it 6, something like that, and then I also had 9 draws in total, 9 draws, and I had about 4 or 5 near wins. So I found a couple of things when a lot of people get a mixture of win and loss. Comment if this is true for you as well. Like when you see yourself making trades in a win and loss, like 50-50, or maybe 55 win, 45 loss, that kind of ratio, or maybe even a 60-40 ratio, how many of you feel that you have some doubt in going to the next trade? If you start doubting yourself on a day where you find that you can hardly get anything going for you, comment below, because this is exactly how I felt. Okay, so if you had those down points in your trading, and then you were trying to all kinds of strategies, you're going from one strategy to the next strategy, and then you're practicing proper money management, and you see nothing's ever working out. And then how many of you ever missed out on trades that would have won, because of your self-doubt? Go ahead and comment below as well, because I want to see how many people have these issues. Alright, so I see a bunch of people out here watching this video right now. I think it's really early in many of your countries. Go ahead and comment below, if you've ever experienced hesitation and self-doubt because of maybe trading on a bad day when things weren't going your way. I want to hear from you, and if you even feel like it, if you feel chatty enough to share your experience, go ahead and type it below as well. I'm just going to take a sip of water. So if you felt, yeah, keep it coming. Hey there, from Ecuador, and what's that, Houston, Texas. If you felt hesitation before, you missed out on good trades. Okay, number one, I found out that a lot of people's problem. In fact, the day before, I think his name was Pushkar from my Binary Lab group, and he messaged me. He says, Julian, I need some help because I have been stagnant at 2,700. I started at 1,000. I've been 2,700 for 3 weeks now, and I can't seem to bring my account anywhere past this. So yesterday, taking a break from that up and down trading, I actually had that realization too, and I wrote to him, I think what you're feeling is this. What you're feeling is probably that you're on a day where you're winning 60, you're losing 40, you're winning 55, you're losing 45, and you feel that you just don't feel the confidence to take the next trade, or maybe you start playing around your trade sizes, and then as a result, you find that you're going too small on the right trades and going too big on the wrong trades, and then as a result, your whole game plan falls apart, and you feel that it's really hard to push yourself forward. Sometimes that hesitation, it doesn't mean that you don't take the trade. It just means that you end up taking the trade later, and as a result, you end up chasing the market instead. How many of you out there watching this video right now have actually been guilty of, let's say, your hesitation causing you to take a trade late at a bad entry? I mean, hands up. I can't really see your hands, but go ahead and comment if that's you, because I think that's that happened for me as well. I missed out a couple of good trades, and I had a bunch of ties, not just because of, let's say sometimes it was volatility, I couldn't get my trades in, but because I hesitated in making that trade, and then when the time I clicked it in, I had a bad entry, and I know that if I didn't hesitate and I clicked it in the first place, I would have won that trade clearly. So I could have even been in a profit. I could have even traded maybe 2 hours less. And the next thing that I experienced as well was that I experienced the feeling of praying. Okay, so like, how many of you ever felt that when you are trading, right, you're on this trade, it could be that you martingale, or maybe because you just had too many consecutive losses, and then you're praying in your heart, or even allow that the next trade is going to win. Have you ever done that? Alright, if you've done that, go ahead and comment below, because I want to hear from you as well. Okay, so early in the day, this happened for me, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, I teach people how to trade. I've been keeping a great record for months and months, and what am I seeing right now? And I was down there, I was hyperventilating. You guys hyperventilate when you trade sometimes? If you hyperventilate in your trading, I want you to comment down below as well. Sometimes the last few seconds when the trade is dancing upon the above and below the profit line, and then you're hyperventilating, it's like you're holding your breath and you're wondering, shit, up, or stay down, oh my god, I was experiencing all of that, and I was like, sign of the cross, please make this trade win. And then also, there were the trades, like, there were a different kind of trade as well. That was hilarious, that there was a kind of trade. Do you know that basically IQ option has a really cool feature where even for sub 5-minute trades, you can actually sell the option even up to 20 seconds before the expiry? Well, if you didn't know that, I'm telling you right now, and that's why I'm using this broker as well. But sometimes when you enter a trade, and then you see that the conditions have changed for whatever market reason, and you know that you should have sold the trade, even if it's, but then you're looking at that, oh, you can get back maybe 50 something percent, and then the next moment it fluctuates to 39%, and then the next moment you lose only 13% on the trade, and you really should have clicked it, but a couple of seconds later, you are actually at minus 74% if you sell the trade, all right? And then, but then again, if we look at it in perspective, right? You know, if we had, okay, yesterday my overall percentage of winning is probably about 60%. So technically speaking, with the payouts this broker has, possible to make money, okay? But I could have made it a much more profitable day, because for the 40 let's say the 40% of trades, maybe I'll say half of them, okay, half of them had enough duration on them that I could have sold to get back at least 30 to 40% of each trade, knowing that the trade's not going in my direction, yet holding on to it, wishing somehow that luck is going to go in my favor and my trade will turn positive in the last 20 seconds. All right. How many of you ever had this experience where you're on this trade and then you had your mouse already on the sell? You had the button, the dialog box pop up for the sell, and then you're just one step from clicking the confirm button, but you're thinking to yourself, you've got 23 seconds left. 3 seconds before you, at 3 seconds more, you cannot sell the trade anymore. And at that point of time, you are like, heck, let's risk it for a biscuit. I want to borrow a line of one of my members, Kit, in Binary Lab Group, Kit Clavering. You're listening to this, shout out to you. So, he says, let's risk it for a biscuit. Well, I mean, because sometimes, you place a $10 trade, and then if you sell it really late, you lose about 85% of the trade, and that's about, you get back maybe a 190 or so, which could buy you a nice biscuit in the convenience store, double chocolate or something, and then and then you think, oh, risk it for a biscuit. But heck, if you had about 30 or 40 of those, that's actually an additional, if every 5 of those so-called biscuit trades, that could be, one full net win, by the way. So you actually, I found out that I was actually sacrificing throughout the whole day about 6 net wins by not selling trades early, by wishing that they would somehow work out. So these are the couple of things that I realized. But towards the later part, okay, I would say after about the first half was over, all right. So this is so-called the twilight zone, where people run an ultra marathon. The halfway mark is where a lot of people give up. At the halfway mark, a lot of people, their morals go weak, and then they start to they find that it's just easier to forfeit and bow out. For me, I actually felt like, shit, should I break my rule of no redepositing on this account and just bring it up to what it was before I made these stupid mistakes, and then trade on from there? Or should I challenge myself, challenge what I know, challenge the money management strategy that I give my students with regards to trade sizing, and see if I can bring this up again? The market conditions were tough. Well, we had a lot of sideways consolidations. We had a lot of spiking movements in the last 15 seconds. All right. So in a couple of moments, you want to get your note paper ready, because I want to dish out a couple of tips for you guys that I finally learned, in this marathon trading experience, which I believe that, well, once again, everyone should go through once in a while. Probably not making big trade sizes, but I think, if you guys ever have an off day on a weekday or something, or let's say, by the way, if OTC trading is allowed in your country, you can even take a full Saturday to do this. And although we know that there are times when the market is good and the market is no good, for example, like lunch times, I suggest that on a day that you wish to set aside time to do marathon trading, go ahead and do it for the whole damn day. I want you to learn how to manage your money. And by the way, if you're going to do that, do it super, super small. So if possible, just go definitely less than 1%. Go 0.25% on the trade. and then you'll be okay. You won't feel the stress that I felt yesterday, because eventually the last part I cut down all my trade sizes to about like 0.4%. Okay, so even this today I did some trades all 0.4%, so it makes the recovery a little bit slower, but no drama. Okay, so so let's say, going back to your what I was saying, like if you can, all right, set aside a day, do marathon trading, follow my money management strategy inside inside the Barney Lab. I posted about 2 days ago. In fact, it was kind of ironic that within yesterday I'll use it already. Like just 12 hours later after I posted it, I was following this to a T. And then if your account is too small that you cannot do 0.25% trades, then go ahead and do what do you call that, demo account. All right, and set yourself this rule that you're not going to allow yourself to top up the account during the course of the day. Or if it's a demo account, you're not allowed to get your account manager to refill it. Okay, and by the end of this day, you must be either at a break even, a small profit, or a small loss, or it can be a big profit. All right, but a full days of trading and a full day of trading where you do at least 100 trades. So try this out. You're going to find out a lot about yourself. You're going to find out a lot about the market. You're going to see how the indicators interact with the candlesticks. And I want to share some of those things to you right now, so that when you go out and do your marathon trading day, you can actually understand these things and see them for yourselves. All right, so in the later half, I basically become a lot more calm, because when trades didn't win, I started to realize that I should have taken these trades in the first place. Well, patience pays off. Okay, I felt that I shouldn't have done that one. It was a stupid trade. Well, I probably couldn't manage my emotions at the time, so I did that trade by mistake. My finger acted ahead of me, and I did the trade. So when it lost, or when it was sitting on the edge of win and loss, I was no longer hyperventilating. I was no longer saying prayers. I was no longer wishing that the trade is suddenly going to positive. I know that I should have done the trade. Well, I'm used to it. And at the same time, I also started to notice, all right, this is when the situation started turning around for me. Situation started turning around for me when I realized that when I take trades, okay, here comes my tips, okay. When you take your trades, I noticed that in strange market, yesterday was the Brexit day where the UK dropped the Article 50. Although we know at the time it didn't hit the market, when it hit the markets, it didn't really cause much of an impact, but impact has been going on all around the day. That's why nothing really happened, right? But what I found out is that the best time to go into a trade is at the 30-second mark and at the end of the minute. Okay, so for those of you using IQ option gets you in at the next tick. The next tick means that it doesn't get you in exactly when you click it, but it gets you in at the next tick, and this tick can be for or against you, right? So when you get in, the best time to enter for 30 is 30-second and the end of the minute, and let me tell you why. Because at 30-second, if you see that the trade is coming to a standstill, some of the bars that you see will be like this, like a doji. All right. If you see a bar looking like a doji in the 30-second mark, then take the trade. If not, wait for the end of the minute. And let's say if it's a bar that is going up, all right. If it's going up, if it stays up by the end of the minute, when you're counting out 55, 56, 57, it is still up there. Then you take the trade. If it's going to be a reversal or a breakout, if the setup is still in place at the end of the minute, with 3 seconds left to the next minute, take the trade. Because a lot of people, and for me, in the first half of the day, I thought, heck, I'm a heavy Fibonacci trader, and when I saw it hit my Fibonacci level, I just take the trade anyway. I don't care if it's 20 seconds in, I don't care if it's 46 seconds in, I take the trade anyway. And what I found out was that, it rocketed further against me. So I found out that at the 15-second points, let's say the 15 seconds in, 45 seconds, these are when the spikes can happen. All right, 15 seconds and 45 seconds into a minute. This is where the spikes can happen. So 30 minutes, if it's at the equilibrium, take the trade. Or let's say at the end of the trade, 56, 57, if the setup is still in place, I take the trade. And when I take the trade, because of the way IQ option works, there's a lot of gapping that happens right at the beginning of every new minute. And I found out that when I started to take the trade about 3 seconds left, when I got it on the next tick, I got it as such an entry that was in benefit to me. I got in at either the very top or the very bottom of the reversal because of the next tick. Okay, I was able to get in at the price gap of the candlestick, and this was monumental for me in winning the trades. I used to teach people this for a very long period of time, but because I rely so heavily on Fibonacci, and I found out that I found out that it's not always that case. Many times in a quiet market, you can just take a trade once it hits a Fibonacci level, even if it means fading off. Fading means that it may go against you for a while and then come right the correct way. But I found out there's so many spikes happening in 15 to 45 seconds that it's actually better to wait to the end of the minute. Okay, do you find this tip is very powerful for you? Go ahead and comment below, because I want to be sure that I'm actually helping you, giving you value in this video right now. And if you find this valuable, please go ahead and share it as well. The next thing I want to share with you, right, is these indicators I have on the screen right now. These indicators on the screen, I want to show you this. Let me take this off. All right. Okay. So this is a 1 minute chart. And I have two indicators right now. It don't matter to me if you're binary lab yet or binary lab. If you're not yet in binary lab or you're binary lab already, just treat it as a free tip for you. And for members, it's a good advisory. It's okay. I use stochastics 5, 3, and 3, and I use CCI 14. Okay. So, what I noticed in the day is that CCI was my main playmaker. If I don't want to get faked out by the market on it reversing, CCI was my main playmaker. Why? Okay. If I see a sharp point, that means that I'm very close to a reversal. Okay. You want to make sure that the sharp point has taken place. The reversal will happen most obviously when it is coming inside of the 100 to minus 100 zone. This is powerful. This is super powerful. And like if you look up at the chart, right, that 100, that when it comes down to very close to here, you know that it's just going to break up. It's just going to break up, okay? And you see when there's a sharp point, okay, at the point of the sharp point, the sharp point shows that it has gone out of steam. Alright, it's not yet going to reverse. This one you have made money on 60-second, but let's say for those of you looking for something safer, I want to wait till it gets really close in to the point that I can even draw a line up between here and here. I'm going to show it to you, see if I can draw a line here. I'm not sure if I can draw one. No, I cannot. Heck, you know what? I'm going to draw this on my MT4. Okay, so I'm just giving you some solid value right here. Something that I usually give only members, but for those of you watching this video, just want to share this with you. Okay, so what I look at a couple of things. I look at the CCI divergence, and this is really powerful because you can actually chart where it's gonna, the part where the last break, if there's a divergence up, the last break is where it's gonna come back really hard, like this one here. And you can see up here it comes back really hard. And when the CCI is nearing in, like I said, when it has that point, and then you're gonna see that that's when it runs out of steam. And if you don't want to take your entry on the absolute bottom, which can be kind of risky for those of you who get tricked by market a couple of times, you don't have to. You can just wait till it comes in closer to 1 deviation Bollinger Band, and then take your entry over there. Okay, so let's just take it for this range. This range is very safe. By that time, you know that the CCI is already inside the 100 and minus 100 zone. And if you don't believe me, go check out your charts. CCI 14, 100 minus 100. Just go watch the charts yourself and let me know if this is true. And I guarantee that you tell me yes, this is true and this is super powerful. It's going to help you see where the market's going to turn real fast. Toward the end of the day, I was doing a lot of breakout trades, breaks outside the range and breaks back into the range, and this is how you can see it. Okay, by the way, if you find the quality is not too good, come back and watch the replay, because watch it on a fast connection. Click in the HD mode, you can see it clearly. So when it comes back into when you see that it's coming off the top, and then see that it comes close to, look out for a triangulation that happens like I don't think this one's gonna work, because it's, you see, this one is already outside, so we gotta wait for a bigger triangulation for it to really drop. This one's gonna keep going up for a while. But otherwise, what I noticed is, like I said, you will see some kind of a triangulation formation, before it's gonna burst, okay, and that's when it's gonna come inside Bollinger Band, one deviation, and actually give you that win that you're looking for, okay. And then that's one of the really powerful things that I saw, and I coupled that with stochastics as well. Stochastics, like hang on, this is not the right screen. I couple that with stochastics, make use of stochastic divergences, helps me identify the big reversals. I didn't pay very much attention to stochastics in the past, but then I found out that stochastics can be used to, let's say, if it's inside, like a lot of people use 80 and 20. I use 80 and 20. 15, 85 is good too. When it's between 20 and 80, you use it for like trend follows. When it's whereas outside 20 and above 80, you're looking at reversals. Coincide this with the CCI. Make sure that it's close to the line. Okay, that's where you're gonna get the non-fake outs. That's when you're gonna see that your trades that you're going are actually gonna win. So these are some of the findings that I took, and then at the same time, still sticking with Fibonacci, still sticking to like that thing I told you about, that mid-minute, end of minute, and with all these things put together, also like selling the trade early for 50% return. If I 50% return on my investment, if I don't think it's going to work, putting all these things together, I mean that gave me a really, really strong finish. At the end of my trading, a marathon trading session yesterday. Does this make sense to you guys? Do you guys have any questions on what I mentioned? If you have some questions on some of the stuff, go ahead and type them below, because I want to make sure this is helping you out. If you guys have no questions, post them below, because I want to get some more water. I'll be right back. All right, finally, the last thing I'm going to leave you with, if there are no questions, that last thing I want to leave you with is like trade size management. Okay, so like if you're unsure, always. I mean, I actually mentioned this in my training guide, but I just want to remind you guys, like for trade sizes. Let's say if you find that you're unsure about a market, then drop your trading size by half or something like that. And then let's say if you feel that a certain trade might work, but you may also have to do an entry because it could possibly go further against you. If that is the case, then you may actually decide not to take the trade. So toward the end of the yesterday's trading, I was getting kind of smug, okay? Because I was feeling as though I've seen it all, and when I was looking at people in the group, looking at talking about taking trades in certain places, I know it's not ready. So I say, well, it's not ready. And then I actually get a kick from looking at the comments, seeing that people say, "Well, you're right, it's not ready." And then then people say that I think this one's gonna break down. I said, no, I think it's gonna go up. So I get a kick from that, because after watching watching the market for so many hours, You know, that's one thing. I mean, like a lot of people want to be a trader for a living, but uh, this whole thing about trading 1 hour a day and having a big lifestyle is a really good prospect. But once in a while, you need to refresh yourself. You need to go into an intensive condition to make sure that you're still sharp. You know how every condition is, and you can manage every single situation. So that's why I think, like today, I feel so much more confident than yesterday. I feel so much more skeptical about the market at the right times. Let's say if I see that a trade could possibly want a martingale, so I'll cut down the size. I was like, heck, if that's the case, well, I'm gonna find some other opportunity instead. A lot of people have this scarcity mindset. You see, everyone's like, oh, I can trade, I can win trades today. I win 5-1 today, and then they're like, I got this new toy, I want to play with it, and then you ever had toys when you're in childhood that actually need alkaline batteries, and the other magnesium batteries won't work with it, but they're cheaper, right? So it's like, and then you ever spoil a toy because you put in the wrong kind of batteries? Well, I did. I either put in batteries that are too underpowered or too overpowered, spoiled toys that way because of no patience for my parents to go out and get the right batteries when I was really young. So this is some of the thing with trading as well. Like a lot of people have no patience, they're just too hard to trade, and then when they get burnt, and then they don't have the mindset to continue. So downsize your risk, and if you feel that you may not be accurate on the first attempt anyway, why don't you wait for the next opportunity of entry? Okay, so there is also the what do you call that? The wolves. I learned this a long time ago. It's like wolves something theory of trading, and then there is a parallel axis. Okay, we kind of have that here. If I drew a line here, you don't take the first bounce, you take the second bounce. Okay? If I drew a line, I'm going to draw a line. Yeah, I'm going to draw. You see this line I draw here, right? Maybe let's bring it to the mirror. Good. So, I draw this line over here. Comes above, comes down, hits. I'm not taking this one. I'm taking the next one. Establishing, and then this is actual goal. Okay. It works the same way for reversals as well. This is in a breakout scenario. But I know that this way, second touch is a lot more powerful than the first touch. So these are the various things that I found out. Okay, so let's say if you find that certain trade you don't look so ready, don't rush to go into it. And then you just after a while you just can start to enjoy your consistency, your improved consistency. Every trade that you don't take is one less trade you need to be profitable. Alright, remember that every trade that you don't take means you're one less trade. You need one less trade to become profitable. So, or should I say, every unsure trade. So remember all these things, and then I guarantee you that you're gonna have really good results. And if you're not already inside Binary Lab, get in and get with the community and check out the document that I've written out on how to manage your sizes, your trade sizes for bad conditions, incomplete confirmation indicators, switching of methods, or let's say you had a perfect setup but it failed, how much trade size should you go on the next trade, okay? When to martingale, when not to martingale. I have all this written out just 2 days ago in a very short, simple, easy to follow document inside the Binary Lab trading group. If you're not already inside, click the sign up button. Not only that, it gets you into my mailing list, it gives you information on how to get inside the Binary Lab as well. And then, okay, at this point in time, I want to take some time to answer some questions. What's the best time frame for trade? M1. Always M1. Like, there's no point in taking any bigger time frames than M1 because your reward is either less or the same. So, if am not able to take a M1 chart based trade, I rather not trade. Okay, I rather use M1 charts to figure out opportunities to take 60-second, 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute trades, or I don't trade at all. Anything else is too much monitoring and defeats the whole purpose of binary options trading. I might as well do Forex, if that's the case. But I came from Forex to do binary for a very good reason. It's time savings. Okay. Now, when using the 1-minute chart, what's the best time for expiry and entry? We're doing breakouts. You can do it different ways. It depends on the market. If the market, look at the candle behavior. This Carlo, by the way, this is your answer to your question. If sometimes you look at the market, you're getting like green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red. I encourage you to switch the chart to a 2-minute if possible. It's going to make things look a lot cleaner. You're not going to get a green red, you're going to get solid red, you're going to get solid green, okay, or at least better. And then if that's the case, when you're doing that anyway, because if you're using MT4, I know that's not possible, but if you see that you're getting an alternation, I would draw like parallel channel lines, and let's say like this one. I'll draw like parallel channel lines over here, like that, and anything above and below, I will do a breakout trade, and when I do that, 2 minutes if it's along green reds, or just 60-second if it's very smooth one color, okay. And then when I do reversals, I do anything between 2 and 5 minutes. It depends on the setup, and it depends on oh yeah, one thing as well I forgot to mention. Go for spikes. Okay, wait. Like I said, spikes like to happen in 15 to 45 seconds of the minute, and when you see the spike, wait for the end of the minute. If it's still there, then you gotta check with Fibonacci. You got a very high chance of winning trade. What's the best time for trade? Best time for trade: avoid all lunch times. So avoid all lunchtime. Avoid all times when Donald Trump is speaking. Avoid FOMC member speeches. Avoid ECB president speeches. Like at least give a half an hour before and after for all these events. But with FOMC speeches, I stay out for 4 hours before, because it's usually shit, and the market is usually very, very antsy, and I wouldn't trade at all. So I'm not sure what's your time zone, but generally, if you're either GMT, if you're GMT -4 or you're GMT +8, I would stay away from anything that has 11-ish o'clock to around 1-ish. Alright, anything from 11:30 to 1, just stay out. That's what I do, okay? Let's check out some of the other questions. By the way, there's a lot of you watching this. If you have other questions, go ahead and ask them, or okay, if you find it easier to use the indicator IQ than MT4, well, it depends. Well, let's say my thing is speed, and sometimes if I'm in a scalping kind of trade, I will do any one that I can get my hands on faster. Sometimes if my MT4 is locking up and then I cannot switch between charts quick enough, I'll just pull up a Fibonacci on IQ and I'll take the trade right away. But generally speaking, I like to do charting MT4 still. Any more questions, guys? I'm going to take like one last question and I'll close this out. I'm going to pick my kids from school. Alright, gone. Alright, if you can still squeeze your next question in, like the next couple of seconds before I wrap this up, otherwise, like for the rest of you guys who are already inside the binary lab, I'll see you guys on the next trading session. Well, I cancelled the the last one, which was a US session, because I thought that markets would be bad. It was bad for Asian and London session, but it turned out that New York session was fantastic. Okay, so I was right there in the Telegram group. If you guys saw me, I was constantly, giving trade callouts and giving advices on other people's trade setups. So I was there. It was fantastic, and I think a lot of people made a lot of money during the last New York session. The next session we're having is going to be like I actually might do double on Friday, because my kids have something in school tomorrow morning, so which means I may have trouble making it for the Asian session. So I might do a double, like a Europe and New York tomorrow. And then yeah, for those of you who want to see live trades, join the Binary Lab group. We do live trades over there. I do like complete trade analysis, and from time to time I do get my camera out and do a live trade when I'm in the midst of a trade. But I like for everyone sees the whole process of it. Just get in the group. It's free. So just go ahead and check sign up button. See how you get into my trading group for free. There's no memberships. There's no nothing. I mean, just basically open your broker account through Binary Lab and you get free access for life. So really good deal. And for all those who want to get my daily emails, go to hit sign up button as well. It's because there's some members that are not on my mailing list. So just join up somehow. So get onto my mailing list so that you get my emails where I have tips, I have replays, I have articles that I post on my blog as well, and then I also send out reminders for webinars so that you guys won't miss webinars. So for that, bye for now. I'll see you guys. Happy trading, and I'll see you next webinar for those of you in the Binary Lab. Cheers.